Hello YouTube, welcome to my new video. As mentioned, I wanna go over my updated thoughts about the new meta, especially about the decks I like or I want to play. I cannot play every deck. Yeah, I have not enough time for this, and so I try to build the decks I want to play and try to make them competitive. I have 3 decks again, the same decks than last week, and I just want to give you my updated opinions over some card choices and how the decks are performing in the meta now. I think it's still the fact that we have 2 tier 1 decks, tier S tier, how do you want to call it, decks, and that's Amber Steel and Red Blue. So we should try to build our decks to beat them. What's a task to ask? Because the decks are both decks are very different, and so the way to defeat them is very different. So it's not easy to play a deck that's capable of doing that. I think if you find a deck that has like 50-50 into both of them, it's okay. Or you play some deck of them yourself. I mean, Red Blue is, in my opinion, maybe the best deck right now because it beats Ember Steel and has no real bad matchup. I think Hyper Aggro is a bad matchup, but it's winnable. So if you just want to have my opinion, what's the best deck right now with no further thoughts or something, I think it's Red Blue. If you just want to name a best deck right now, but the meta will adapt, the decks will adapt to beat Red Blue and Ember Steel. And so I think, I mean, in Z4 it was the same case. The Red Blue decks were all of this Sisu ice block thing builds, and they adapted to Bucky and something to be something different, go back to the old lists more, like with Be Prepared and something. But the lists now are full Sisus. I mean, most play 4 little Sisus, I mean human Sisu, and 4 big Sisus, and that's tough for many aggro decks. The shift line is available so early that you will struggle to out aggro them, especially on the draw, and that makes Red Blue very powerful. On top of that, Red Blue has a very good endgame in general. I mean, Tamatoa and Dime, and don't need to say that, I think. Okay, that's my initial thought. So, and now we go through the decks. The first deck is the Hyper Aggro deck, purple yellow. I'm a little bit lower on this deck right now because I really thought that the matchup against Red Blue was way higher than it actually is. It's a very good it's a good matchup, but I wouldn't say it's a very good matchup. I mean, on the play you will almost never lose. That's good. And on the draw it's tough. If they know exactly what they do and what they have to mulligan for, and they need 1, 2, 3 key cards, and then they win. And then if they have not these key cards, you will win. It's very linear, the matchup. So Big Sisu is a real problem if they can ramp up to her. They need human Sisu, Big Sisu, and ramp to defeat Hyper Aggro. Yeah, but it's still winnable for Hyper Aggro if we draw nuts and if we draw our reach cards in the end game. The deck in itself, I built it a little bit more sustainable against steel. I put in all these 1/3 1-drops. Don't know if it's the right way. It felt right. I think if you're on the play, you have a decent shot sometimes to win against Ember Steel. Decent shot is you will win some games against Ember Steel, but not that much. Also, I added a little bit more card draw with Cusco and Maleficent to just, if we don't draw Chromicon, it's very, very bad, and we are very reliant on the Chromicon. So I just added a little bit more cantrips to get to the Chromicon more. But yeah, the build in itself is not very, I wouldn't say it's not very important, but most of the build is not very important. There are some key cards, and all uninkable cards in this deck are key, except Baloo, maybe. Chromicon is key, and then you can play around. Do you play Fox or not? Fox is a weird card. You could say you need Fox for the mirror match, but I don't know. I didn't play a mirror match yet, to be fair. I don't know if you have a decent shot in the mirror match, even with Fox. So I think it's maybe not worth it to add Fox, because I couldn't imagine another matchup where you need him. He's inked in my games like 95% of the times. I think you could argue to cut him, but yeah, you can still bounce goat in the end game. Yeah, I think this list is quite decent. It's the deck I played the least last week. Maybe you find some better lists, but I think it's a good way to start. It's still a very, very powerful deck. The problem is just the meta, because Amber Steel is that popular and Red Blue is not that bad than I thought. But there will be so many decks you will just yeah. I think it's a very good deck. If the opponents are not very prepared against this deck, they will just lose to you. You're just too fast. And just Amber Steel is the big problem. And that's the most popular deck right now, or second most, hard to say. The next one is maybe my favorite of this week. It's hard to say. It's Amethyst Steel. I adjusted the deck a little bit slower. I think that's the way to go. We have still 10 1-drops. Mickey Mouse is super crazy good. And this deck if a deck can cause problems to Red Blue, it's this deck, because all of these aggressive characters have 3 or more strength. Smee into Lawrence is a real problem for them. And also Chain Po is really good. And yeah, it's an aggro deck that causes problems to them, because in the Amber Amethyst deck, all dies to Big Sisu, and here not. And that's very important. Yeah, the rest of the deck is very, very straightforward. What I like about this deck is that it has tools to beat really everything. It is very aggressive to beat Red Blue or some other control decks, and has Pete as real important new addition to fight song decks, or yeah, Ember Steel mostly. What I really think, I saw some lists with 2 or 3 Pete. For me personally, I think Pete is a card you play either 4 times or not at all. Because I think you want to chain Pete's into these matchups, and you want to have 2. You can bounce Pete, but for example, against Ember Steel, it's very good if you turn 3 Pete, turn 4 Pete, turn 5 Snake, replay Pete. That should lock them down. I think it's too important in its matchups where he's important to not play him 4 times. So I would recommend to play him 4 times. Yeah, and that's the only but really good addition to this deck. The fact that you can bounce Pete is very strong in these important matchups. So, but it's a very skillful card to play with. Pete is not easy to play with. When do you play him? You shouldn't just play him turn 3 and go. You need the right turn to play him. Also has some good tools to deal with aggro, fight against Baboom and such things. What's also good against Amber Steel or some other. If Diablo will still be played, it's still hard to say how popular Diablo will be. Yeah, the rest is straightforward. Smee is just a menace. One of the best cards ever printed. It's crazy. I don't know what they thought about this card. Yeah, otherwise it's very straightforward. If you like Amethyst Steel, I would recommend to revisit it. It's a very good deck now. Mickey and Pete are very good additions. If I had to choose a deck right now to play in a big tournament, I would maybe, it's a bit tough between this and Green Purple, what I will show you now. But it's very, very powerful, I think. But mainly I obviously want to talk about Green Purple. Green Purple got a really good new addition this week. This is Clarabelle. I really underestimated Clarabelle, especially the 1-drop. It's a very good tool into blue-red. It's a very good turn 3 play into red-blue, and I really underestimated it. We have still some things to discover and some things to adapt. I'm really not sure about the build itself. I think Elsa is really good and needed, for example, against just evasive characters. I mean, you really struggle against evasive characters. I played a game against the blue fairy deck that was so annoying. And also against human Sisu, it's very good if you can delay their shift a bit by playing not too many characters, and then play Elsa turn 5 to deal with the human Sisu. That's really good, so they can't shift anymore. Yeah, also useful against the beast or something. She's very versatile and inkable, so it's no real downside to play her. I played around with this deck a lot. I tried to play it without Murphox and Banzai to just shift the deck to a more mid-rangey controlish style, but that's not enough to beat Red Blue. You need this early game pressure to get to 20 lore simply, to get to the point where you can race them to death. Clarabelle is a very good addition. I searched for a card like a good 6-7 drop with some decent stats. I'd really tried, thought about some vanilla cards or something like a 7/7/7. I think there's a Little John or something in the last set, which with just 7/7/7 or something, because thick characters with great bodies are really good in the meta right now because they go around all the Sisu things and are very good into Ember Steel. It could be maybe the time for vanilla characters, vanilla big bodies. But Clarabelle is nearly dead. 5/6 is really good and has a really good effect too. So she's a really good addition at all. She's even sometimes a good turn 7 play. And the good thing about the deck right now is these Clarabelles and this Ursula both provide a threat on the board. Opponents get really annoyed by them just lying there because they know, okay, shift can happen next turn. So they use their resources to remove them, what's beneficial for us, even if we don't have the shift. That's really good. Yeah, other than that, if you shift Clarabelle and sing your welcome, that's just crazy, a crazy move. It's unbelievable how good this. You shift it, sing, remove the best character from them, and then you draw to their hand size. This is crazy. I really thought to go maybe with Lyle to 4. Banzai is really strong again. He is very good into red blue. Is exactly the threat or the aggressive character we need in the early game to get to a reasonable lore amount. Yeah, to get to 20 at some point. Merfolk is still. Merfolk is hard to say. Merfolk in itself is a very good card, but there was never a worse time for Merfolk. So maybe she has to go, but I'm really not sure about it yet. What I want to try is, I want to play the 4th Lyle, would be really good. Still not sure if that's worth it. I'm also not sure about Kids anymore. Kid is not very good. There's not many uses for them. I mean, against Aggro, he's really good. Yeah, there are some decks he's very good. That's why I stick on him. But the decks that are popular right now, he's not very good. So we have these new really good endgame characters to finish games very quickly. I think that's Clarabelle is a very good addition. I really underestimated, especially the 1-drop. I wanted to play the 3-drop as well, but I didn't find space. And the 3-drop Clarabelle is also decent, but not very good. But maybe I want to give her a try again. The problem with Kid is Lyle does nearly the same than Kid, only better most of the time. And that's the problem with Kid. The Kid has no really good uses. But I have to test it more. Your Welcome is also a card, of course, with Clarabelle is a very good combo. But there are a very highly inked card by me. But it's also very good. It's like in the end game sometimes it's like Mother Knows Best. Gives you sometimes exactly the reach you need. Yes, but I think we are weak to Sisu, to big Sisu. That won't change no matter how we adapt. So we have to take that. That we have to take in mind. I think I have to test it more, and if we adjust this deck a little bit more, then we could be favored into red blue at some point. I think didn't find it completely out yet, but it's hard. But against Ember Steel, we have 50-50, I think. And all other mid-rangey decks that fight for board control in the mid game or something, I think we will really favored. Lyle is just a menace there, and we have so many tools to deal with everything. We have so many tools. We have now even tools against items, and even if there are spellbooks or sometimes or something, a spellbook was a problem a little bit sometimes. But even that we can deal now. Elsa is a very good tool against everything. I think it's a really strong deck. The fact that we have these two really crazy good decks with red, blue, and Ember Steel makes it appear a little bit worse. But I will try to adapt this even more. I will keep you updated for my new editions. Because I think that's my goal to make this deck as as glorious as it was in set 3, and I of course want to play it in the next big tournaments. Right now, I'm not totally convinced about it. Sadly, I would maybe play red-blue because it's so powerful, but I wouldn't like it because I don't like the playstyle of red-blue. But I hope and I think the meta will adapt to beat red-blue. For example, red-purple was a really good deck against red-blue, and the more red-purple gets popular, we come back, because red-purple was our best matchup always. And yeah, I hope we are able to be successful again. Okay, I don't know if I have forgotten something. I don't know. You can always write me in Discord or Twitter if you have questions. I will try to do this regularly, once a week. I try it. I don't know if I have time, but that's my goal for the future, to make a weekly update what my thoughts are. And I will of course focus on the decks I enjoy. Most of the time they contain purple. I don't know. I can't win without goats somehow. So I have to play purple, and most of the time I want to play green purple, of course. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following me and for subs. I really appreciate it. I will stream when you watch this, when this gets released, on Tuesday. I will stream then today again, to play some Pictobomb Connect. And I hope I was on vacation. That's why I didn't stream for a while now. But now I want to return streaming twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, thanks for watching, and till next time, and bye bye.